Okay, today we're talking fast passes. What are they? Why do I need them? How much they cost, etc. So, a fast pass is the way that you are able to go in a shortened version of a line at Walt Disney World. Now, you're always going to have to wait in line a couple rides at least, but you will not be waiting in a 1, 2, 3 hour long line to go on a pretty good attraction at Walt Disney World. You might wait 10, 20 minutes max to go on something. Depending if there have been technical difficulties throughout the day or something, if the ride's been down, it might be longer. But I would say on average, you're looking at less than a 20-minute wait for a fast pass ride. So how do you select them? Well, if you are staying at Walt Disney World on one of their resort properties, then you get to book your fast pass 60 days before your date. And so if you're a client of mine, I will make sure that I give you whatever date that is, and you will know what date that is to book your fast passes. If you are not staying on property, you can book it 30 days prior to your day in the park. So it comes standard with your ticket, whether you're on property or not, you will have access to make them. They do not cost anything. It's included in your ticket, and it's a no-brainer that you should use it. Some people go to Walt Disney World, and you can point these people out very quickly. You will see them. They have no idea what a fast pass is. They are the ones that said, let's go to Walt Disney World. We're in Florida, might as well. And then they spend, for a family of 4, they're spending $500 just to be in the park, and they might not get on more than 2 or 3 rides throughout the day. So make sure you book fast passes. Okay, how do you do it? Where do you do it? Well, the biggest thing is the My Disney Experience app. That's where you're going to do everything in the park. If you're much more savvy on your phone than computer, you're probably going to want to do it on your phone too. I think it's easier to book fast passes on the computer because it's bigger, I can see things, and I could also compare what I'm doing with my phone or my spreadsheet that I might have to book fast passes. So I think the computer's easier when booking ahead of time. I think obviously in the park I'm going to have my phone, and that's going to be my best friend. So My Disney Experience app, you should already have that from your reservation stuff. Everything should be linked in, and if you need help with that, I will absolutely help you. So you get 3 per person that has a ticket in the park. So you're under 3 kids, so up until 2.5, almost 3. Those kids do not have a park ticket. They're free. They do not get a fast pass. They just go on with you. So if you're riding a ride that they're big enough to ride, they just join you. They don't have a fast pass. But everyone that has a ticket, so ages 3 and up, you get 3 fast passes per day in the park. So here's what you need to know about the fast passes. They have to all 3 be in the same park. So some of you have the park hopper option, meaning you might go to Animal Kingdom in the morning, then Epcot in the evening or whatever. If you were doing that, you would choose Animal Kingdom, 3 attractions, or Epcot, 3 attractions. You don't get 2 and 1 or something. So that being said, you get 3 per person. After you have used your 3rd fast pass, you can book a 4th. Then, after you've used your 4th fast pass, you can book a 5th. You could book as many fast passes as you can get in during the day. Obviously, those of you that don't have little kids are going to be able to probably do a lot more attractions because you won't be worried about nap time and meltdowns and this and the other. So you might be able to book multiple attractions. If my example of going to Animal Kingdom in the morning and Epcot in the evening, you could book your 3 in the morning at Animal Kingdom. As soon as you've done those 3, if you wanted to head over to Epcot, you could. That 4th fast pass can be in Epcot because you're starting over. The thing to know, though, is that you can only do 1 at a time, not more than 1, but 1 at a time when you book that 4th, 5th, 6th fast pass. So as far as the selections go, you can see on my dock here that there are tiers and there are obviously multiple attractions in each park. Magic Kingdom has the most because it's the biggest. There's a lot of stuff for little kids. So here's how the tiers work. As of right now, there are not tiers at Magic Kingdom. I bet that changes pretty soon. So here's the reason that there are tiers. It's that so everyone gets a chance to ride one of the best rides. Okay. So I can go with Epcot, for example. You have all of these tier 1. So you're allowed to choose 1 tier 1 and the rest are going to be tier 2. And this doesn't mean that the tier 2 attractions are not good because they are, but the ones that everyone's talking about right now, the newest, the most exciting maybe, are going to be your tier 1. So if I have a family of very little kids that like Frozen, clearly I'm going to do Frozen as my fast pass for tier 1. If I have if I have adults or bigger kids, I'm going to choose Soarin' as my tier 1. If I have little boys who just love, love, love cars, I'm going to do Test Track. Okay, so you're going to look at these tiers and you're going to decide which one would be best for your one. Remember, you do not have to go as a group. So if there's a mom and a dad and 2 kids, mom can take 1 kid. She can take the little kid on Frozen. The dad can take the big kid to go on Soarin'. It does not matter. You can absolutely split it up. Okay, so how do I know what these rides are, if my kid's tall enough, etc.? So right here on your My Disney Experience, things to do, you're going to go down to attractions. Now, if it was character experiences, you could click that too, but let's just go attractions since we're talking about them. All right, if you're going to Epcot, you're going to click on that and you're going to say Epcot. You only want to see Epcot. Okay, attractions. You could change this obviously to show you dining, to show you entertainment, etc., but I want attractions. So now you can go through and look at all of these. Okay, obviously, but that's probably going to be a waste of your time because it's every single thing that would be considered an attraction. So decide what it is that you're looking for. If you're looking for things, or you want to make sure you don't get certain things. So if you know your kid would be petrified of water rides, make sure you don't click that, okay? Interests, so there's interest options, and then age and height, okay? So you need to make sure that you have an idea of where your kid's going to be at the time of your trip, maybe depending on their growth spurts, maybe add an inch to where they are now, depending how much time you have before planning, but know how tall they are. And know that your kids aren't going to be able to do some. Lily can't ride test track. She's not tall enough. That's fine. And there's some that they might be scared of. So the other thing I would recommend, honestly, every one of these rides is on YouTube. Any ride that you think you might want to ride at Disney World, somebody has video blogged it. So go to YouTube, just type in, if you wanted to see what Soarin' looks like, if you wanted to see Frozen Ever After, whatever, go to YouTube, type it in so you have an idea and you can take a peek at it beforehand. Like I said earlier, it might take away some of the fun of seeing it ahead of time, but then you know what you're getting. Because the last thing you want to do is waste one of your fast passes on something that you're like, oh, that was a dud. I shouldn't have done that. I can absolutely help you with that too, of what I think your family, your kids, their age level would enjoy, and we can go from there. So I would absolutely do this, and I would do this for every single park, okay? So that's the first thing, is picking your fast passes. So my suggestion to you would be to look at this list, look at the PDF that I will share with you at this list. And if you are going to book your fast passes on your own, which I would encourage you to at least decide them on your own so you have more stake in the game as far as more interest and you've kind of maybe looked into it more, I'm happy to do it for you. And you can book them if you'd like me to book them for you. I don't mind. I'll do it. It's a 7 a.m. wake up and plugging them in 7 a.m. exactly 60 days before your trip. I'll give you some tips and tricks if you decide to do it as far as when to do things. So for example, Flight of Passage. It's really hard to get. So if you're starting your trip on a Monday and you're going from Monday to Friday, well, the trick is that you make sure that you put Flight of Passage on your Thursday or Friday day. Why? Because everybody else that's jumping online at 7 a.m. to book their trip for that exact same week is probably going to go straight to Animal Kingdom on Monday to try to book that Fast Pass. Well, if you think ahead that everybody else with that foot traffic on that website right then is picking that, if you go later towards the end of the week, you have a better shot of getting it. So the real good coasters that you know you want to do, excuse me, we push towards the end of your trip if possible. The other thing when we get close to picking your fast passes is we want to look at park hours. So if we go back to park tickets right here, if we go over to more hours, if we plug in the dates of your trip, so say you happen to be going this week, okay? So I would look at this week. It'll tell you the hours of the park. Every week, people that are staying on property have access to extra magic hours. So you can see on Friday the 22nd, Magic Kingdom is open early, 1 hour early for the people that are staying on property. If we scroll down, we can see that Epcot at the end of the week is open 2 hours late for those staying at the park. And you can scroll down and see which parks have extra magic hours on which days. If you have older kids or it's adults, you can absolutely go take advantage of this, okay? This means that you're going to have lower crowds during this time because not everybody's there. Pass holders, people that are staying off property are not going to be there. However, it does mean that the attractions, the heavy hitting attractions, might be a little bit harder to get those days. The crowd levels in the parks might also be heavier those days. Because you have more people that are trying to go to that park and they're probably going to stay there for the day. So I personally, unless I was planning a trip for adults and it was evening magic hours that they were going to be taking advantage of it, those of us with little kids are never going to be at the park at 11 p.m. probably, unless maybe it's your last night home and you're trying to get them super tired. But I usually try to stay away from the parks with extra magic hours because the crowds tend to be a little bit higher. It doesn't mean that that's going to happen every time, but that's kind of a rule of thumb that I go by. If you know you want to take advantage of extra magic hours, though, you're super excited to go have a shot at this ride or whatever, then you make your fast passes based on the days that you're going to be headed to these parks. Okay, this is also true for dining. So if you know that you're going to be going to Hollywood Studios on this day because you're going to take a part of extra magic hours, well, then you want to make sure when we're booking your dining that we're booking dining in this park or something very close to this park for transportation. If you're at Magic Kingdom, you'd want to be eating somewhere on the monorail or in Magic Kingdom. You don't want to be booking at Sanaa over in Animal Kingdom and then coming over to Magic Kingdom. So these are updated way far in advance. Absolutely, you can see what these park hours are before you pick your dining selections. And these will be adjusting up to the week before you go to your trip to see, especially in the summer, they usually make the late nights at Magic Kingdom. They usually keep them open later. So that's as far as finding your fast passes and picking them. Couple things to note. Here's a video. They honestly do it a lot better than I would do it, so I'm just going to direct you to their video. So this is something that I watched before I went, and I found it very, very helpful. So this couple, once again, you can go through and you can look at their stuff. You can see I subscribe to them. You can go through and look at their tips and tricks. They are very skilled and very veterans of they're veterans of Disney World, so they're going to give you a lot of firsthand information that somebody that goes there all the time can give you. And I've stolen a lot of their tips, and they've helped me a ton. So if you can watch this video, it's going to explain to you about modifying fast passes to make them earlier to fit your time. I'll talk to you about modifying, but I would say watch this because you'll see a firsthand view, and the view that they're able to give you is going to be better than mine because they are in the park, and the algorithm of fast passes in the park seems to be different for people there than people that are sitting at a computer in many states away. So watch this video. You can scroll through and see some other ones. They have a 2.0 version of this that shows the same kind of stuff, but there's some good information here from these folks. And I can share this video with you, but it's called The Walt Disney World Couple, and then that's the title of the video. So as far as Rider Switch, I have a video that explains Rider Switch. However, Rider Switch just changed to go electronically, and I have not been yet, and I'm not going to be until the fall when they change the new system. So watch the video on Rider Switch. The gist is the same, except for it's electronic. So instead of getting a paper copy of your Rider Switch, you will get they will scan your band to give you a Rider Switch. So watch that if you have little kids. Remember, Rider Switch will be for people who are scared to go on a ride, little kids, or they're too short for the height requirement. So take a peek at that if you have little kids. And lastly, if you have yet to download the My Disney Experience app, make sure you do, and start playing with that before your trip begins. So fast passes are 60 days before your trip. Your dining will be 180 days before your trip, and a lot of you have booked after that 180-day mark, and that's absolutely fine. No worries. We'll still get the dining you want. It just might take us a little bit to get it. So fast passes, here's what they are. Here's how they work. I hope this was helpful. Watch this video. This will be really helpful for you. And as always, I am right here to support and help you any way I can.